bucket list thing to do an event with you, and we get the biggest game of possibly, other than the finals, but I mean, it's especially in the first round between Canada and the USA, 4 players that are known around the world for NHL. And yeah, guys, we're going to take just a moment here and preview how these guys got here and tee up the matchup. Canada versus the USA. The battle for North America is going to take place in the first round and should be the most exciting of all of the first round matchups. On PlayStation, we've got a gigantic matchup in John Wayne, who has been a USA GWC representative 2 years in a row. He's going to take on Josh Fearless, a veteran of almost 10 years in the NHL esports scene. And on Xbox, another vet for the US in Padre is going to take on the 2019 GWC third place finalist in MGX Nuclear. This is going to be the most tightly contested matchup in the first round on both consoles. For the US, it's John Wayne, who's one of the most decorated players in NHL esports, having placed third in the 2018 Gaming World Championships, following that up by placing second last year, only losing to fellow American in Top Shelf Cookie. John is one of the best players in the world when the games matter most, and he's going to have his hands full with his great friend in Josh Fearless. Padre will be his partner. He's going to represent the US on Xbox. Got better and better as the flow of the tournament went on. He won against well-known influencer Andrew Telfer, better known as Nasher, and was able to beat Matthew Top Shelf Cookie Gutkowski, the winner of the NHL Gaming World Championships in 2019, in the finals. Both of these players have been around for years and competing at the highest level. However, Canada also features 2 of the best in the world. On PlayStation, we've got Josh Fearless, who's been a top player in the entire game for almost a decade. He had to play a total of 8 matches in the qualifying round, but managed to win in the end with strong defensive play and merciless offensive power. In those 8 games, he scored 48 goals, an average of 6 per game, which finally earned him a playoff spot on the PlayStation side. He's won a number of NHL esports tournaments. He was a Canadian GWC regional representative in 2019 and going to be an extremely tough out for John Wayne. His partner will be Nuke, who already played for the title at the NHL Gaming World Championships in Las Vegas last year. He's proved to be an offensive killer. He only allowed 3 goals in 6 games on defense and is going to be an excellent counterpart to Josh Fearless. Nuke has shown over the last calendar year that he is one of the best in the world, winning a number of events, including the Minnesota Wild and Columbus Blue Jacket Esport Tournament this year, making this one of the best matchups the entire tournament will see. All right, guys. So obviously, this is going to be, the biggest matchup. When we got the bracket and whatnot, we knew that this was going to be the biggest matchup. And Art, I want to get your thoughts on how this is going to play out.
I mean, look, these are 4 of the most accomplished players in the scene. You have John Wayne, who is pretty much one of the most successful GWC players out there, keeps improving, 3rd place in the first season, runner-up in the second season. Who knows what's going to happen in the third season, already qualified. You already have that pedigree. You also have somebody like Daddy Padre, who's always in the mix. He's the emergency goaltender for the St. Louis Blues. He's always a force in the community. You have Nuke, who's the Canadian champion last year. And, I mean, there's so many great matchups here. On top of that, you have Josh Fearless, who, in my opinion, has been part of one of the greatest series that we've ever seen in Chell. But I do want to point out one thing, no sleeves. Actually, sleeves, since you're wearing sleeves this time around. By the way, we match.
Yeah,
we match, by the way.
NJ Depp pointed that out.
Yeah.
That's just great minds think alike.
People might be watching this right now and saying, hey, wait a second. This is Canada versus USA, and you have 2 Canadians calling this. Isn't this commentary going to be a little bit biased? I assure you, number one, I live in the United States now, okay? I live just outside of New York City. So as far as I'm concerned, this is going to be completely unbiased. You and I, Sleeves, will be calling this completely down the middle, okay? There will be no bias whatsoever. We are professionals. We will make sure that this is completely unbiased and completely as we see it. Okay?
Absolutely.
Trust
I
me
believe
when I tell you, we will remain professional this entire time.
I 100% agree. I don't see any bias being involved in this event at all.
None.
And
None whatsoever.
I mean, we have to discuss something here, and that is how the players and the teams that they're going to be using. Because in this format, guys, we're going to get into the format in just a moment, but they get to choose the teams that they use, and once they use them, they cannot use them in future rounds. Okay, so now obviously Canada and the U.S., two of the powerhouses in this tournament, they had to burn a good team, I think the best team in NHL, in the first round, because Canada, Josh and Nuke, chose to use Canada as their team. Padre and John Wayne, with the option to choose a just as formidable team in the USA, decided to go with Canada. So, I mean, that's an interesting. They don't want to use the USA in this game. They want to use Canada. So, again, guys, just if you guys haven't been following the tournament, how it will work is now these guys in the next round will not be able to use Team Canada. So, when you watch today's game, you're going to see Canada versus Canada. And again, that was done throughout the event to kind of make everyone on a level playing field. Some of the other smaller countries in the event, they want to make sure that everyone's on the even playing field. So we saw some interesting matchups yesterday. I want to go over and kind of tee up where we're at yesterday. So I'm going to throw up the bracket and where we stand. And right now, so in the top left corner here, you'll see Canada versus the U.S. The winner of today's series will play Slovakia, who played, in my opinion, the best series so far. That went down to the final game, the final 20 seconds, and we had our only female participant in Lady Brunette and the Slovakians move on against Latvia, which, chat and everyone deemed as an upset. So they will play, whoever wins today will play Slovakia in the next round. Then we have Sweden defeating Italy today. The Czechs moving on past Belarus, so they will play their next round. On the other side of the bracket, we have Russia, who defeated Kazakhstan yesterday, against Norway, who upset the Swiss, who, again, they were kind of the favorite going into that one. And then down below, we have kind of, the international powerhouse in NHL, at least in the Chelsea scene over the last few years, in Finland, featuring Eki and Rhoda D. They'll take on the Germans following that. So we've got a ton of big matchups. This is the final one for round number 1. You have covered some of the biggest games that these guys have ever played in. Let's tee up our first matchup, which is going to be Josh Fearless taking on John Wayne. Give me your thoughts going into this one.
So when you were talking about which teams these players were able to select, the first thing that came to mind was when you get to this certain level, when you get to that tippy top of the mountain, when you are considered one of the very best players, which both of these players absolutely are, in Josh Fearless and John Wayne, oftentimes the games are a coin flip, especially when they're playing as the same team. Right? Like we've said that time and time again, especially the first couple seasons of GWC, when you saw a lot of the same teams, when you saw Pittsburgh versus Pittsburgh or Winnipeg versus Winnipeg, we said that a lot because the skill level is so high and they know each other so well. They've played against each other. They've scrimmed against each other so often that oftentimes it's a coin flip. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens when they play with the same teams against each other, but also when they differ things up, because that's where you really see the differences come in.
No, absolutely. And we have to also mention the format. And so, guys, the aggregate format, what is going to happen here, because there are two consoles, what will happen is the score totals from each game will then be added collectively. And at the end of the 4 games, whatever side, whether it be Canada with Josh and Nuke or the Americans in John Wayne and Padre, that whoever has the higher total goals in those 4 games will be your winner. So technically, you could win 3 games by 1 goal, but if that 4th game is a 6-0 blowout, your tournament run is over. So again, I've really enjoyed this format just from the the perspective of that we're able to do a cross-platform version. And it really adds some intrigue in it. We saw it in the game I was able to cover yesterday in Latvia and Slovakia. It went down to the wire. They went into that 4th game, tied at 14 goals in the aggregate, and it basically went down to the wire. So I think that the gameplay in that first game, so the first matchup we're going to see, which will be Josh and John Wayne, it's going to be interesting because if one runs away with the score, that not only puts, pressure on the next game, that's in the back of their mind. If Josh were to, go up large on John Wayne, that he has to play another game right after and kind of make up for it. But now Padre would have to just absolutely go off against Nuke, not only win, but have to make up for some of that. And I think that really adds to the perspective of this tournament, because there hasn't really been anything like it in the NHL esports scene.
Yeah, and I love the uniqueness of it. And I love the fact that if it was a best 2 out of 3, let's say you're losing 4-0 going into the third period, maybe you'd think, you know what, this game is out of reach. I'm just going to save my energy. I'm going to hold and try to build some momentum going into game number 2. But now you have an incentive to score some goals. Even one goal, if you're losing by a blowout, might help in the future games because it's an aggregate of all 4 games.
Yeah,
so that's what I really like about this format, and every single second counts in all 4 games as we go into this series.
Absolutely. I mean, and like I said, if there's a blowout in any of these games, it completely changes the way that your partner basically has to play. And I'm super excited for that, guys. We're going to get to that in just a few minutes. It'll be the first game again. It'll be Josh versus John Wayne. But we also have the Xbox side, so let's cue that up. We've got Padre for the United States and Nuke for Canada, and obviously Nuke has been one of the best players over the calendar year, and he'll take on Padre, who has been around for just years and years at the top end of the competitive scene in NHL. And give me a little your insight on Nuke today, judging by the last year of his gameplay.
I mean, he's been solid. He was a Canadian champion in season 2 of GWC, but this year he didn't let down. I did a couple of events for NHL clubs this year, Minnesota and Columbus in particular, and Nuke won both of them convincingly, by the way. And one of them was a LAN event before the pandemic hit in Minnesota, and one of them was an online event in Columbus, and he excelled in both. So when you're able to assert yourself on LAN and online, lag, ping, whatever, and Nuke knows all about it being on the West Coast, that is a scary thing. So Nuke is always going to be somebody you have to watch and respect going into matches like this. And he doesn't let if you watch him on stream, if you see him on camera, he doesn't let his emotions show that much. He often has a poker face, which is even more intimidating, right? It's even more intimidating. Meanwhile, Daddy Padre, he is a formidable player. And, don't let the fact that he hasn't qualified for a GWC fool you. He has been in many, many events. He was in the Toronto Maple Leafs event a couple seasons ago. He is always in the mix. And he is one of our more successful hockey players that has transferred to Chell. I mean, he's an emergency goaltender for the St. Louis Blues. He was there when the Blues won the Stanley Cup, and he was part of the celebrations. He practices with the team once a week. I just love the idea that he has successfully taken all of those hockey skills to transfer them to make a successful Chell career. And now he can prove a statement here because, Cam, at the end of the day, how many of these players qualified for GWC? Only one this year, right?
Absolutely.
And so that's a scary thought. And now they have the forum to be able to get revenge in a way in their career, some vindication. And the IIHF tournament right here is a great way to do that.
No, absolutely. And that's another thing I want to mention, at least specifically for the Canadians, whereas Josh and Nuke were a consensus top 4, or 2 of the top 4 players in the world for basically since this season started. And they both were ousted from the GWC or the GWC regionals here. So this is definitely a big event, a big stage for them to kind of make up for that. And but just that first game, Josh versus John. John always shows up when the lights are the brightest, and I can't wait to see how he does today.
What do you call him? Big Game John? Is that what you call him?
Big Game Wayne.
Big Game Wayne. That's even better. Yeah.
Wayne. Yeah, it's Big Game Wayne. Yeah, John is one of the best when everything's on the line, and he's gonna play one of his best friends in Josh Fearless, and Josh has been one of the most entertaining people to watch this whole year, and now he's representing Canada in this fantastic tournament put on by the IIHF, and I just can't. I haven't been this excited for a game in a long, long time, but it's gonna be fantastic, and it looks like they're about to start. And again, about a minute here, guys, we're gonna get to our first game, and it will be Josh versus John. And again, if you're just joining us, they will both be using Team Canada. I know we're probably gonna get a lot of that in the chat, and again, the reason is they both want to be on even playing field. They both know that they are probably the top, pairings in this tournament, or 2 of the top 4, and they've got to go up against each other in that first round. So they want to make it as even as possible.
Or they know who the superior team is.
Maybe. There's no bias, Arda. Come on. There's absolutely no bias here. But,
Capital J journalism, folks. Capital B broadcasting.
We are getting underway, folks. So we are going to get into our first game. It will be Josh versus John. Will be in the perspective of Josh Fearless, guys. And it will be Arda on the call. Couldn't be more excited, guys. Let's get into it.
So just kidding, obviously, we are absolutely 100% going to call this one right down the middle. Canada versus Canada. Remind us, Sleeves, the colors for both competitors.
So the red will be Josh. The white will be John Wayne. And again, it will be an aggregate score. So the goals from this game will add up into the next game, but this is the fresh slate. So the goals scored in this one will be how they go into game number 2.
So Josh has the puck in the neutral zone. We'll pass it to Brent Burns. As you can see, Canada versus Canada. Red is Josh. White is John Wayne. Crosby, the first shot on net. A right pad save there. The play continues. Back around is Crosby circling around, looking for some space. Josh Fearless, lethal behind the net. As we know, the Fearless rap has been used to great success in previous editions of Chell. Here is Josh still in the offensive zone, circling around, has it at the point. We'll pass it to Connor McDavid. McDavid now with Josh Fearless, looking for some outlet, can't find it quite yet. Josh back to the point, collecting Corsi points here. Here's Burns at the point, back to Doughty. Doughty can't find a shot, though. Some nice defensive positioning there by John Wayne, and John Wayne will finally collect the puck.
Josh, one of the only players that's still at the top end of the competitive scene that still uses the overload setup, and right there, John working perfectly to kind of cut away that middle passing lane he's looking for.
Burns has the puck at the point for Josh. Fearless winds up. The puck doesn't make it to the net. Here's McDavid now for John Wayne. John Wayne in white. Both teams playing as Canada. Here's Burns. Although this is a Canada versus USA matchup, always a great matchup when these two countries are facing off, whether it's on the real ice or the virtual ice. Cam, we, as Canadians, we obviously have many, many great memories of Canada versus USA at the Olympics over the years and the World Championships.
Absolutely.
Mine is 2002. 2002 was watching that in Canada at a bar with hundreds of Canadians with me. That was one of my favorite sports moments of all time.
Flexing your age there. I was 12, so I will go with 2010 as my favorite moment there.
Fair enough. Fair enough. The Sidney Crosby golden goal will always live in the hearts and minds of Canadians. But let's see if either Team Canada or USA can create a similar moment here. And this is a huge matchup for this to be. And almost a goal there by John Wayne, but the puck stays out. To create a moment here from either of these so soon in the tournament. This is not even the finals. And just remember that there are 4 mandatory games here, and it will be aggregate score at the end of game number 4. Will dictate which team advances.
Absolutely. And again, like, these two are going to play pretty safe early on. And again, they don't want to get into a spot where they put their partner in a significant disadvantage in that second game, as Padre and Nuke are going to be waiting here. And if one of them gets down by a lot, it's going to be pretty tough for their partner to come back. So
now here comes Josh. Josh gets stripped of the puck. Here's Duncan Keith. Keith will take the puck all the way behind the goal line, behind the net. John Wayne stops and starts, looking for some space, still behind the net, behind the goal line, brings it forward. Here's Brad Marchand pinching at the point. Back to Keith, possibly trading positions. Now Marchand will actually go out for a change, and John Wayne now gets bumped into the neutral zone. Little bit of room to breathe here. Here's Giroux. Giroux will take it for John Wayne. John Wayne just happy to keep the puck on his stick right now, as we are in game number 1. Just over 3 minutes left in the first period, still scoreless. Here's Stamkos for John Wayne. Will bring it forward. Possibly looking, gets pinned up against the boards, but the puck will get back to Stamkos. Stamkos at the blue line now. Possibly a one-timer. Duncan Keith can't find the net. Both players unable to find the net with relative ease so far in this first period, Cam.
Just going to be familiarity with each other. I mean, John plays one of the slower styles in the competitive scene. He's really just trying to get down on the corner boards, wait for that cross-ice pass to be open. But Josh knows that, and the same thing for John. I mean, he knows that he's looking for that one-timer in the middle using the overload strat, and he's just not giving it to him, controlling his defense and just making sure that those passing lanes are closed. So it doesn't surprise me at all that these guys are so tight after one.
Jay Fear has the puck. Nope, that will be whistled down.
End of the first period there. I mean, that was super tightly contested, kind of what we thought would happen in this first game. And even the time on attack within a minute of each other. Not a lot of shots, but again, that's kind of to be expected as they're looking for that perfect angle.
So John Wayne and Josh Fearless, as we mentioned, two of the greatest players on the scene today. Josh Fearless, a part of what I would consider to be the greatest series I ever saw. Josh Fearless versus Young Gren. Hey, look, Snoop Dogg's on commentary. Cam, you can take the period off.
We got our third guy in the booth. Let's go.
So he's everywhere, by the way. Snoop Dogg is like, whether it's Chell, Madden, you name it. He even has his own video game. Like, he is everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah. Shout out to James Sobalski, by the way, the voice of NHL 20. Good buddy of mine out of Vancouver, British Columbia. Here's Riley now for John Wayne. Sidney Crosby bringing it forward now. John Wayne is always somebody who is able to perform under pressure. I mean, you talk about the miracle on device in season 2, right, to eliminate Eki from the competition. That was 2 goals in like 30 seconds when
30,
his back was against the wall. Yeah.
Yep. That was there in person. That was one of the coolest things I've seen in competitive NHL, as Eki was just deemed and thought that he would go to the finals again, and John, upset him in that last 30 seconds. It's something that that we're definitely going to remember years ahead, regardless in the NHL scene, is one of the biggest moments, and that's why John is so good. He's just so good in big moments.
Scores! Somehow that puck went in there. Looked like it was saved, but Josh Fearless will be the first one on the board.
He switches to the manual goaltender, bumps into him, and unfortunately slides right under John. And Josh is... Josh is... we can hear him in the background. Josh excited already as he now put Canada up 1-0. And again, guys, it will be an aggregate score. They will add up. So all of the scores in these 4 games will add together, and whoever has the most will move on. Those scores that you see in the bottom beside their names will update as the games go on. So now Canada leading 1-0.
Josh Fearless is one of those players that once he gets that ball rolling, it's tough to stop the snowball, right? It almost becomes an avalanche very quickly. So you give him an inch in this game, he will take a mile. But meanwhile, John Wayne is one of the best at the comeback too. So like, we've seen John Wayne seem like completely out of a game, and it's almost like a foregone conclusion that his opponent will win, and suddenly he scratches and claws his way back. So it's always interesting when 2 players like this play against each other at a level of competition like this.
Absolutely. Their play styles are really mirrored, as they don't go end to end a lot. They are really careful in terms of puck possession, and then when they're in the defensive zone, they don't chase a lot. There's not a lot that's going to be open, and both of them are really relying on that backdoor one-timer pass, and they both know exactly what's coming. So I think that we're going to see a low-scoring game, and I think John will keep it close here. But yeah, in big games, there's very few better that step up when everything matters the most.
So recall that this is a PS4 matchup, and Nuke and Daddy Padre will be playing 2 games on Xbox. This
Correct.
is game 1 of 2 for John Wayne and Josh Fearless. 4 games total, and it's aggregate score.
Yep, they will all add together, and you will see that score update in the bottom right and left beside the little flags there. As we've got Marner, Josh into the zone. He gets knocked off the puck, and now he's back. He's got it, looking for that one-timer pass. Doesn't have it. Tavares now with it, and now he's into the zone again, looking for that open one-timer.
The one-timer doesn't go there. John Wayne, with some good defense, has the puck now in his own zone. Here's Duncan Keith for John Wayne. Both players as Canada in this particular matchup. In a big Canada versus USA matchup, Josh Fearless for Canada opening the score. It is 1-0. Reminder that Josh is in red and John Wayne is in white for those just joining us. There's Alex Pietrangelo, the Stanley Cup champion, to Huberdeau to Giroux, and a nice save there by Josh Fearless, and now Josh will counterattack. It's a 1-on-3 right now, opting to keep the puck. Somehow got over beyond 2 players, but gets pinned up against the boards, does John Tavares, who kicks the puck. And that one will sail back into Josh's zone. Some changes will be made, and that will be icing. And
quietly, we're already near the end of the second period. Again, these guys don't have a lot of whistles. There's not a lot of stoppages. It's a lot of zone time for each, and we're going to see more of that. I'm excited to see how Padre and Nuke play each other. Padre always gives Nuke a very, very good game, and we'll see how Nuke can answer back after that GWC defeat, and that'll be coming up on Xbox right after this one.
So here's John Wayne now looking for an answer. 2:40 left in the second period. Has plenty of time to get back into this game. That pass will go nowhere. Actually, will go all the way back to Carey Price in net. And John Wayne, well, look at that, Sleeves. I am the only person that talks about patience with the goaltenders and not dishing the puck out in dangerous situations. And finally, someone's listening.
Nah, it's May. You got to play it out.
Everybody plays it out. And at least twice in a regional final, or 3 times, you will see a goal that could have been avoided because the goaltender just dished the puck to the opponent that was waiting in the crease.
And in that
Happens all the time.
In that Josh and Gren series, Gren played it out on a 5-on-3.
Unbelievable. Have some patience, people. Chat is buzzing. Appreciate everybody watching this, the IIHF tournament. We have had some upsets so far. This one is definitely very likely to be the biggest series going into the final. We have, as No Sleeves likes to call them, the biggies. Or the bigs.
Absolutely. These are the biggies. These are the biggies. You have to expect, I mean, it looks like Sweden and the winner of this one are on a kind of a collision course on this side of the bracket. Obviously, Sweden having one of the EU GWC representatives in Ekin, as they were really dominant today against Italy. And they will go on the next round to play the Czech Republic. So you'd have to think that one of these two teams will be the favorite. Now, obviously, internet issues aside, we'll see. But again, when it comes just in terms of skill, it's more than likely one of these will be the final representatives against Sweden in that final match.
Third period underway. Josh Fearless with a 1-0 lead in our first of 4 games here in our quarterfinal matchup. From the point, John Wayne ties it up just like that.
Hits him, Josh, with his own medicine. It rips one from the point. A D-to-D one-timer from John Wayne. And haven't been the prettiest 2 goals so far, but honestly, that's kind of how these guys play. It's a lot of just, safe shots, waiting for that go-to goal. And now we've got a tie game, and again, it is an aggregate score. So John keeping it close against Josh is extremely important.
I know that it's way too early to say this, but you and I, Sleeves, were talking off camera about like how rare of a possibility it would be that this would actually go to a 5th game overtime if the score was tied. But if there were 4 people to make that happen, I think that this would be the one.
Oh, absolutely. And if that happens, like, that would be probably one of the most exciting things. And again, guys, I'll get into how the overtime format works, because it gets a little crazy when you've got both consoles going. We'll get into that after the next one, because after this first game, it's not out of the realm of possibility.
I mean, they are tied right now with 16 minutes to go in the third period. John Wayne has it in the offensive zone. Will circle around. Likes to be behind the net there, behind the goal line. Oh, looking for that one-timer and scores! Takes the lead. That's John Wayne.
And just like that, John Wayne now out in front. He just remains calm. Doesn't get flustered. It's just how he is in the biggies. And now he gives the U.S. a 2-1 lead here in game number 1. And again, guys, if you're just joining us, the scores will add up. That will be how we determine our winner. So right now, Canada as a whole trailing 2-1.
Well, Josh Fearless has ample time to tie this one up, or at least accumulate some points in that overall total. So what I like about this format is the fact that every single second of these games will count. As we go along here, that will be no offside. It will be avoided. Josh Fearless has the puck now behind the goal line, passes it back to Pietrangelo, loses it. Here's Marchand for John Wayne. John Wayne, Doughty in front of the net, avoids the possible danger there, up to Stamkos at the red line, finds 3-4 red shirts, will opt to circle back. Here's Jonathan Huberdeau. Huberdeau will cross the blue line, gets stripped of the puck, but gets it back. Here's Stamkos for John Wayne. Huberdeau looking for the one-timer, can't find it. Behind the net is Josh Fearless now. Josh in red. Josh will sail the puck up to the neutral zone, and John Wayne will collect it. John Wayne to Huberdeau now. John Wayne has it, enters the offensive zone and scores. Oh, snipes the top corner.
Let's go. John is buzzing now with that short side wrister, starting to feel it. And now U.S. with that 2-goal advantage going into the next game, potentially giving Padre a little bit of breathing room when he goes up in his game against Nuke. And again, guys, that will be directly following this one. So, I mean, it is in Josh's and, Nuke's best interest that, regardless of how this game ends, Josh to make this as close as possible to make sure that the series is extremely tight all the way through. Because, if John were to score 2 more goals here and that's it, that's really tough and puts a lot of pressure on Padre to really do well against Nuke.
Giveaway there, Josh Fearless trying to find an offensive attempt here. Nice pass there to Burns. Has a little bit of space, but John Wayne, again, nice defensive efforts. Really good with the position. There's 3 white shirts, as you can see, gets bumped off the puck. Just a great defensive effort there by John Wayne, and now it'll be the counterattack. Nice pass back to Pietrangelo to avoid the poke check, and now he still has it. Passes it to Riley. John Wayne now behind the goal line. Passes it behind the net. He's very comfortable there, as we know. Pietrangelo at the point. circling around, waiting for the right time. Opts not to shoot there. Still has the puck. Almost kept it for a very long time. And now it'll be a penalty. And it's a power play for John Wayne. An inopportune time for Jafier.
No, absolutely. And again, this is a big moment in the game, not just, for this game specifically, but he's got to just make sure he keeps it close. A 3-goal lead here is going to make it tough for the Canadians overall in this series.
John Wayne on the power play now. We have seen him excel in these situations, and he's just going to be very happy to cycle the puck. And oh my, not sure how that one went in. Maybe a little bit of a fluke, but it still counts.
Josh will not be happy about that one, but again, we have to talk about it. I mean, John just coming alive there. The first period, he did not have that many chances, and ever since that point shot went in, everything's been going his way. And now it's a 4-1 lead for the Americans.
That's just an unfortunate, that's one where you just say, man, things are not going my way in this game. And if you're Josh Fearless, you are rightfully maybe a little tilted at the moment.
No, absolutely, but he's got to try and get this as close as possible. 6 minutes left, still time to get some goals here and make this closer for Nuke.
That was a close attempt there. Yes, even one goal will be good there. A nice save by John Wayne's Carey Price as John Wayne has the puck now with 5 and change to go in the third period. It's 4-1, but remember, there's 4 games, so Josh Fearless is still going to turn on the Jets here to try and get at least 1 goal back, but John Wayne might not be done as well. Here's Josh Fearless to Stamkos, the lead pass. Might have a split-second edge, not quite, so he's going to wait for some help. He's behind the net now. He's going to pass it to Bergeron. Here's Josh Fearless. Bergeron in the offensive zone. Will pass it to Pietrangelo. Pad save is made by John Wayne's Carey Price. Here comes John Wayne. Passes it to Tyler Seguin. Seguin will enter the offensive zone for John Wayne. Oh, the one-hand tuck goes. It's 5-1.
And now John's just running away with things, and this is going to be extremely difficult. Makes the next matchup between Nuke and Padre that much more difficult, as it's now 5-1. And the USA have that 4-goal advantage right now going into game 2. Big game Wayne just showing up. And we have to state is, Josh is, they're playing each other. They're obviously, John as far away as he can be in Alaska. Josh, has to play on a very high ping, so it's going to be very heavy. It's not going to feel as quick as it normally is, and Josh kind of relies on those quick passes and whatnot. And when the game isn't moving as fast as it can be, it can cause some struggle. But John is so used to it and just, calm, relaxed, and leading by 4.
A great start for Team USA right now. A 4-goal lead in this 4-game series, which you could certainly say will be each other's toughest tests, at least on paper. So we have under a minute to go in the third period. Can Josh Fearless at least pull one back? Getting some space here. John Wayne, it's been a defensive clinic for him really all game long in this first of 2 games between the two of them. John Wayne looking to add more. Carey Price will dish it to Burns, who is waiting at the crease. 30 seconds to go in game number 1. As we now see O'Reilly. O'Reilly, nice to Marner. Marner will lose it. Tries to poke check it. Pins up against the boards. Too many white shirts there, though, so there's Monahan now for John Wayne. 15 seconds to go. Scheifele will get taken down, and there will be an empty net and a power play.
And, this is a big 15 seconds. If John scores again to have a 5-goal advantage after game 1, that's pretty impressive. I don't see Josh losing 2 games, so I think that he's just got to get it out of his mind here and focus on his next matchup. And then it's really going to come down to Nuke and Padre. As long as Padre can keep it close, he just has to play safe. Knowing this game, obviously Padre wants to win, but now with this lead, he really just has to make sure he doesn't give up, 4 or 5 goals against Nuke, and the USA can walk away with this thing, as this one's over, our first game of the night.
So 5-1 is your final score. That means that Team USA, the team of John Wayne and Daddy Padre, have a 4-goal advantage going into our second game, which will be played on Xbox. That will be between Team USA's Daddy Padre and Team Canada's Nuke. So, Cam, a very interesting matchup to start things off. You're both players choosing Team Canada, but at the end of the day, it is big game Wayne starting things off right for the good old USA.
No, absolutely, and we alluded to that earlier. Like I said, it's impressive that how these guys have they have to keep it close, and we didn't see that in game number 1. And John, in the biggest games, always seems to succeed no matter what. And it'll be tough, that next game. Josh kind of now has to win by a few goals to kind of make up for that. But this next game we've got here is going to be a good one, as it's going to feature Nuke for Team Canada. They're going to try and bounce back. Nuke, one of the best players. And Padre, again, his mindset going into this is obviously try and win. Winning would be the most important, but he doesn't have to. He just has to. If a 2-1 game happens, that's kind of perfect for them, as in they go in and they have that that bigger advantage here. But it's going to be tough going into game number 2 for Josh and John as we move through the series. So, guys, anyone that's just tuning in, this tournament operates far different than any other NHL esports event that you've seen. And what will happen is there will be a 4-game aggregate. So all of the scores from these 4 games, they'll be added up. And whatever side, whether it be the USA and John and Padre, or Canada with Josh and Nuke, whoever has the higher goal totals for in the 4 games, they will move on to the next round to play Slovakia. So that's why it's not only winning that's important, but it's keeping the games close. And unfortunately, we didn't see that in game number 1.
And it's interesting because now you have Nuke, who has pressure going into this second game, which is technically his first game, right? So you already have that sort of feeling of disadvantage and a needing to catch up going into your first game. So that's a unique sentiment in NHL esports, because typically you're just playing as yourself, right? If you're going into an elimination matchup, then you're on equal ground with your opponent, but not here. Nuke is at a disadvantage here because Team Canada is at a disadvantage right now in game 2 of 4. So that's an interesting dynamic.
Absolutely, and it's honestly the best thing, or the most interesting part of this tournament to me is that format, and I really enjoy it. But I want to describe overtime real quick. So now obviously that first game wasn't close, but if we were to get to overtime, here is how it will work. Both players on PlayStation and Xbox, they will play another game with a golden goal rule. Whoever scores first will win, and that means that if Nuke and Padre were to play in overtime and they score and Nuke scores in 3 minutes, that means John Wayne would have to score before 3 minutes against Josh in his overtime format of game. And we haven't seen one of those yet. We were close yesterday in Slovakia and Latvia, guys, but we will have Nuke and Danny Padre coming up very shortly for you guys, and we're going to take a quick break and be right back. Hey guys, welcome back. We are moments away from Padre and Nuke in their game number 1, and to give you guys just a little heads up as to what happened, we had John Wayne and Josh play their first game, 5-1 win for John Wayne and the U.S. So going into game 2, Padre will have a 4-goal aggregate advantage as Nuke has got some work to do to get themselves back in it. Now, I mean, I want to discuss, if Nuke were to win this 4-1 or, even a 5-1 game to match it, it's going to get really interesting because now Josh is going to get, almost a redo, and he's got to be, hoping for it because, very rarely do you see Josh, have 2 rough games in a row. I really think that next game is going to go a lot different, but, John just doing what he does. There is a reason why he was the first ever NHL esports player signed by an NHL franchise with Caps Gaming. And, I'm excited to see their next game. But this next one, guys, again, how it works, that format, all the scores add together. So while this one goes on, there's a storyline in the background is if Padre can just keep it close against Nuke, and the U.S. are going to have a pretty strong advantage. And if you're just joining us and wondering why, you're going to see Canada versus Canada. And again, it's because every nation gets to choose the team that they represent, or not the team they represent, sorry, the team that they are using in game to keep the versus ratings kind of similar so that it's even. The thing that does need to be mentioned, though, is they cannot use it in the future rounds. So Canada will not be able to be used by the U.S. or by Canada. Where they to move on. So just excited to see how this one's gonna go. But
that's an interesting strategy. I kind of like it because if Canada is the strongest international team in this tournament, like in the game, I should say, and that's not a bias thing, that is just simply a statistics thing, then to play them against who you believe to be your strongest opponent going into the tournament, which you could also make the case that Canada and USA are going to be each other's strongest opponents, possibly on paper at least, or one of them. And if you know you're going to face them, and there's still maybe a possibility that you'll face Finland, who is definitely in the mix, but that's not guaranteed, and this is guaranteed, then I do like this selection. Even though Team Canada will be out for them for the rest of the tournament, it still makes a lot of sense that this is what we're seeing here.
I will say this. In the finals, when the two sides from each side of the bracket play, they can use whatever team they want again. So they have to make sure they get there, which makes sense in this one. Just to have to burn Canada as the team that they use, because we saw yesterday Slovakia was playing Latvia, and the Slovakians were the underdogs. They chose the USA to use in their first round, but Latvia went with Sweden because they were confident they could save another team for a future round because they thought they could knock out Slovakia pretty easily, and it kind of blew up. It kind of blew up for them as obviously the U.S. had a little bit more of a statistical advantage in that game, and it's just that's the thing I like about this tournament. The format, it's so interesting in terms of NHL esports, is we just haven't seen anything like it, and it's been really interesting to see how they've made it even so far with how it's gone.
And you know what I love about that, Sleeves, is that with the European regional finals, which you could say is among the highest levels of competition, if not the highest level in Chell, just for the circumstances.
Yep.
We always see, and rightfully so, it is always 7 Finnish players and 1 player from the rest of Europe. In season 1, it was 1 Swedish player, Darkic. In season 2, it was
I think it was
a part-timer. Yeah, it was a part-timer from Austria who just treated it like a vacation. He came in for the weekend. He was the happiest guy to be there just because he was just part of the scene, and he's like, I can't believe I made this tournament. He didn't even score a goal in the tournament, and he didn't care. He treated it like a vacation in Stockholm, which I love to see. And he was in his 30s. He was just so happy to be there, right? But what I like about this tournament is now we're getting some more storylines emerge. Maybe there are other regions or players out there that could be contenders from the European side of things, at least to the throne that Finland currently occupies.
No, absolutely, guys. And we're going to get into all the other storylines this, but we're about to get underway. In the Xbox side, it is going to be Padre versus Nuke, and it will be Nuke in the Canadian Reds with Padre in the whites. And again, you see it on the screen there, Padre with the 5-1 aggregate advantage over Nuke, so he's just got to keep it close. We'll see how the game plays out. Arda on the call.
All right, here is Daddy Padre, as we mentioned, the emergency goaltender for the St. Louis Blues. So he is a Stanley Cup champion, technically. No big deal. Practices with the team a couple times a week. Was there for the sellies. It's all good, right? What a guy. What a guy. He's the unheralded E-Bug. If David Ayers is the one that's celebrated, then Daddy Padre is like right behind him, you know?
Oh, no, he absolutely got some love, too, when the old David Ayers thing went down. I know that he was actually referencing and a couple times on Sportsnet as well, because of it, his involvement.
Good, as he should be. And now he is participating in this tournament just like he has in many Chell tournaments in the past couple of years, one of the long-standing members of this community. And Nuke, the reigning Canadian regional champion, shockingly did not qualify for the 2020 GWC, however. There's been a lot of shocking, that's a conversation for another time, but there's been a lot of shocking omissions from this year's GWC. But here in the IIHF, this is an opportunity for them to redeem themselves and show exactly the prowess that they have, including Nuke, who has had a lot of tournament wins recently, in particular Minnesota and Columbus this season.
Absolutely, and like I said, that when we teed up the show is that Josh and Nuke both not making the GWC regionals for Canada, and this a chance for them to kind of redeem themselves going into this tournament.
Here's Nuke. Nuke loves to shoot from all angles. He has a very deceptive wrist shot that he takes from the top of the circle. That is one that you wouldn't guess would often go in, but he seems to find so much success with it. So he has that pinpoint accuracy and the guts to be able to take that shot and hope that it or know that it has a good percentage to go in. So he's one of those players definitely that will take those kind of risks. So you'll see that as we're about the halfway mark of the first period and we're still scoreless.
No, absolutely. And again, he's a magician, probably one of the best at picking his spots when to shoot. He has his own shot, the Nuke shot, that low blocker side from the left hand hash marks, and we'll see if he goes for it. Padre's going to know it's coming, so we'll have to see how he plays it.
So here's Nuke behind the net. Nuke looking for a pass, still has the puck, good protection, keeping his back to his opponents. There is at the point he's looking, you see, you can tell he's trying to set up that shot, just skating right up to the top of the circle, but Padre is stopping him, telegraphing exactly what's happening there. So here is Nuke still with the puck in the offensive zone. Nice pass back there. Back to the point for Nuke. Nuke will pass it around. Nice circle there. The one-timer and a save is made. The play continues now. Here is Daddy Padre. Here's Padre, has it in the neutral zone. Padre will keep it. Will skate it forward. Nice circle pass. Oh, and the puck almost made its way to the back of the net there, but stays out. We've seen a lot of wonky bounces with that puck so far in this series, so we could see more of that here, as I believe Tyler, Daddy Padre, is in St. Louis, and Nuke is in Vancouver, British Columbia.
A little bit closer than our first matchup.
Yeah, just a bit. Nice pass there. No one-timer is made. Nuke is being very patient with the puck there. Maybe a one-timer there. That doesn't go, though. A nice save is made by Carey Price, the Padre version of Carey Price. Padre has a nice lead pass and has an outlet right there. We'll look for the outlet, the pass, and he scores. Padre gets on the board. USA's up 1-0.
That's big. Now that goal differential opens up to 5 as, again, guys, the scores will add up. You will see them to the left and right of their gamer tags here. And now Padre and John Wayne up 6-1 over Nuke and Josh.
And now this is growing in numbers for Team USA. A huge first goal, as you just mentioned there, for Team USA. And let's see what momentum that will build. Here's Padre skating forward, avoids the offside, has the puck behind the net with Sidney Crosby. Will decide to dish it out. Nice slap shot and scores! Make it 2-0 and 6-1 or 7-1 in this series.
Unbelievable. Just, again, I said it before that Padre, for whatever reason, plays Nuke very, very well. It's just the play style. It's very slow. It's a lot like John Wayne, to be honest with you. It's very defensive. He doesn't allow you into the zone very easily, and he shoots from everywhere. It's almost kind of Junior Pens-esque. People in the chat know who he is. He takes a lot of shots. Maybe they're not high percentage, but he just gets them when he can, and that makes no mistake there, as now it's a 2-0 lead in the game, but more importantly, 7-1 for the U.S. over Canada.
If you don't know who Junior Pens is, you should know. I'm pretty sure everyone in chat should know by now who Junior Pens is.
Yeah, I would think
he is the runner-up of the first year of the GWCs, one of the pillars of the community.
No, absolutely.
So some NHL teams should hire him in their stats department, but that's a conversation for another day. I know I keep saying that every time I'm on the air, but it really is true. Anyhow, let's move on back to this game. Nuke is in the red, as we said. Padre is in white. Padre with a huge 2-0 lead at the end of the first period, which the aggregate is now 7-1. And you got to wonder, at what point do you start saying, Cam, that this becomes almost, I would never use the word insurmountable with these four players, but at what point are you in peril of the series so soon?
I think that anything more than this. I mean, 6 is already going to be very tough. It's going to be, we just saw John really do well and get a 4-goal advantage win over Josh. Josh is now going to have to make sure that, he puts up, 4 or 5 of his own, unless Nuke can really come alive here in the back part of this game.
Padre in his own zone. He'll give up the puck to Nuke here. Nuke might have an opportunity. The one-timer to McDavid does not go. And now Padre on the counterattack, trying to avoid his defender there. Oh, boy. Oh, that one is going to sting for Nuke. It's 3-0 and 8-1 in the series.
Unbelievable. He passes it off of him. I mean, that's not even a broken animation. I think he went to sauce it into him, and it just bounced from McDavid, off his own player, and in the net. Canada just cannot get a break right now. And it's now 8-1 in the aggregate, and things are getting really dire now for the Canadians.
I would also like to point out that Padre, while competing in this game, is talking in the chat.
No, absolutely.
So that's a level of confidence that you rarely see from any esport. I just need to point that out.
No, absolutely.
Just so happy with his performance right now that he needs everyone to know in the chat that he's also watching chat while playing. So here's Padre will look to add to his lead. Nuke doing a good job of staying in the offensive zone. Just can't find the net. He's behind the net right now. Let's see if he can create an opportunity. See, the shots go off there, but in position is Carey Price, and Carey Price will smartly hold on, and that will be a penalty, however. So I believe it is Nuke now that will go on the power play.
This is a big moment. Nuke needs a goal here. Needs something to get going.
Face-off won by Nuke, has the puck. Circles around. Now behind the net. Nice creating space. Oh, that one-timer, that's going to hurt as well. That was just a great defensive positioning there. And now that one-timer will convert. Finally, Nuke gets on the board with Sid the Kid.
Yeah, a great passing play in the offensive zone on the power play. Makes no mistake. And now it's going to be interesting. The next few minutes of this game, if Nuke can really start to pour it on, it's usually how it goes when, two of the best players go at it. We'll see if Nuke can kind of use that momentum and get back into this series.
Padre has it behind the net now. Padre is, oh, what an answer. Just like that. Behind the net, Connor McJesus will score, and now it's 9-2 aggregate.
Unbelievable. Okay, well, he answers immediately. This is definitely getting dire here. Now, is it just a good matchup for the Canadian or the Americans here? It's just the way that these guys play. They're so slow. They're very methodical with the puck, and they just try and get as much as they can on net, and it's working really well here for Padre.
How demoralizing is that? Just the counter goal within seconds of Nuke finally getting on the board.
I think it's more demoralizing for Josh in this format. Now he knows that, he put themselves in a hole, but now he knows that he has got to win and win big to get back into this series. It puts a lot of pressure on Josh.
Here's Nuke on a partial break right here. There will be no call on that. That was a clean takeaway of the puck on the breakaway. So the play continues. Very well done by Daddy Padre. A great defensive effort. The play goes on here. Padre has the puck in his own zone. Will make a lead pass there. Skating back and forth. The use of the triggers. The puck will go to the net. Carey Price will ensure that it stays out. Here comes Nuke with Sidney Crosby now. Sidney Crosby has an outlet. The pass and scores. Makes the game 4-2 aggregate 9-3.
All right, so now we're getting. I mean, he's got a lot of work to do. He at least has to. In all honesty, Nuke has to win this game. I think if he loses it, then that means the goal differential is going to be at least 5 or 6 going into the back half of this, and it's just going to be really tough. We're at the the end stages of the top tier talent in the world, and it's very difficult to beat one by a large score, but.
Nuke could possibly add more. He's definitely looking for those one-timers, as you would, and that one will go nowhere. So it'll be Padre taking the puck. The lead pass there finds its mark, has a red shirt defending, though, and that will be a nice counterattack. Backwards, forwards, protecting the puck. Nicely done there. Can't get the shot off. Still has the puck, though, in the slot in a dangerous area. In that Royal Road, no. The puck will miss the net. So there's Sid for Padre behind the net. No, and he loses it in a dangerous area. Can't get the shot off. Still has control. From the point, the save is made by Carey Price. Nuke still has it. Finally, Padre looking to exit his zone and finally does so. That was a great sequence for Nuke, but there was no fruit there as the score is still 4-2. Here is Padre now. Padre with Connor McDavid. Passes it to the point. The point has the puck now. Winds up, save made by Carey Price, and will hold on.
That's a big moment there for Padre as he was just getting absolutely run over there in the offensive zone. It was chance after chance. Nuke didn't bury. He hung on, and again, that's really what he had to do in this. I mean, he didn't even need to win this game to give them a great shot at it, but the fact that he's keeping this lead and adds to the advantage.
Nuke with an opportunity here, but the puck won't get to its desired target. Here's Padre now. Padre loses the puck again in a dangerous area right in front of the net, but Nuke cannot convert. That is 3 or 4 times now that Padre has lost the puck right in front of the net. That would be good enough for a bag skate the next day in practice.
Absolutely. But Padre, I mean, that's one thing probably more than any other player in the community that he does is he uses the big players on any team that he uses to bump them off the puck. And again, he uses it so well. And when Nuke is holding onto the puck and waiting for that perfect shot, he's not having any room to do so because he's just getting bumped off immediately.
What can Nuke do now? He's down 2 with 45 seconds to go in the second period. The one-hand tuck. Oh, it gets telegraphed. That one will not go. We will not get our second tuck of the series just yet. Nuke looking for something. Nope, it'll be the end of the second period. 4-2 Padre. 0.1 seconds to go. This will be a ceremonial face-off, if anything. So the aggregate, no sleeves, is 9-3. 6 goals separating Team USA and Canada so far.
Absolutely, and that, honestly, that one-hand tuck goal that doesn't go, that's... Nuke scores that 99 times out of 100. That's an automatic goal. I thought for sure we were going to see a 1-goal game going into the third. And again, look at the time on attack and shots. Nuke is doing everything that he needs to, but he just cannot bury it. And Padre on the other end, just trying to get shots towards the net and take advantage. He's had a couple goals that went off of Nuke and in, and he's just taking advantage of it so far. And this is going to be a gigantic period, not only in this game but the series.
So a reminder that Nuke is in red, Padre is in white. Here's Padre looking to avoid that defender. Can't quite do it, though. Here comes Nuke. Nuke will lose the puck, so it's back to Padre in the neutral zone. Collects it again. Nice pass there. Has an outlet. Will opt to try and shoot. The puck does make it through, but Carey Price is there. So still with the puck is Padre at the blue line. Will circle around. Has a lot of red shirts around him. So as a result, we'll lose the puck. Here's Nuke now. Backwards, forwards. Nice pass there to Crosby, but Price makes the save.
Big save again, and it just seems like Nuke's timing is just off ever so slightly. Those goals that he has scored all season long, just not going in for him here. And, he's got to be frustrated. But if he makes this close and can make this a tie game or even forced overtime, it'll be huge for them.
Padre has it again in front of his net. Bank pass to the neutral zone, gets by the defender. Here's Padre, the one-timer. What a goal. It's now 5-2, and they have broken double digits on aggregate.
Just a crazy turn of events here. I'm not going to lie, did not expect, this huge of an advantage early on. And Padre and John Wayne just came to play today, and it's crazy to see how the aggregate score is already.
Nuke looking for something, anything right now. This is not looking good for Team Canada. That one-timer misses the net. That's like a dichotomy of what's been happening in this series right now. The way that Padre scored on the one-timer versus what just happened with Nuke. seems to be the luck that both teams are having. But it's even unfair to call it luck, because right now, both Daddy Padre and John Wayne have played incredible defense and have converted when they had the puck in the offensive zone.
They have played great defense here. They've gotten the bounces on offense to take the lead, but in those games, even when you do get those lucky bounces, a lot of the times the offensive guys who are really controlling the time on attack end up, at least making the games closer, coming back and winning. And, both Nuke and Josh are controlling the time on attack and the game, but the scoreboard is far from that.
So 5-2 with just over 11 and change to go in the third period. Pinned up against the boards is Nuke. Nuke still has it in the offensive zone there. So there's still time here for Nuke to try and at least claw back a couple goals. Nice space creation there, but Carey Price in position, but Nuke still has it behind the net. Nuke has it, avoids getting pinned up against the boards. One thing that Nuke does really well is looking for those tight corners and just being able to dance around in a phone booth. But that won't be fruitful. Here comes Daddy Padre. Padre skates forward, backward, forward, protecting the puck. Has a trailer, looking for that pass. Gets a shot off anyway, but Carey Price makes the stop. Now it's a 2-on-2, almost a 3-on-2, but the puck will get swatted away very nicely by Padre. Now it's passed over. Has an opportunity here. Can't quite get the shot off. Over 7 minutes to go in the third. It's 5-2 for Daddy Padre on a 10-3 aggregate. 2 games remain. Nice pass there, and Nuke crawls one back.
It's a big goal. I mean, like I said, there's still time for Nuke to come back in this game. I mean, it's not over yet. And a big goal there. He's within 2 now.
Nuke has it once again. Nuke has been very good at getting into the offensive zone, but I'd love to see what the shot totals are here, because Padre... Oh, and another goal! Just as I say that, Nuke's like, hey, keep it quiet, commentator. I'm going to score some more goals.
Starting to heat up a little bit. Like I said, if he can somehow win this game and get right back in the series, Josh is just sitting there shaking, waiting to get his second shot at John. And, like I said, if he can keep this close and potentially come back and win, it's going to be huge for the rest of this series.
Nuke is turning on the Jets right now. You can tell he's using that momentum to his advantage, and almost that one-timer. If that one got onto his player's stick, that would have been a goal right there. It is 5-4 right now. Nuke again. Oh, and the one-timer doesn't go. I thought that was for sure a goal, but no. But we still have 3 minutes to go. Plenty of time for Nuke to tie this game up, which would be significant considering how this game has shaken down so far.
Unbelievable save there on that one. I can't believe that didn't tie the game.
Nuke has it with Crosby, loses the puck though. Padre back to his defensive ways. He has the puck in his own zone. Will skate it up forward. Nice passing there. Through a wall. Nuke gets it back. 53 seconds to go. Can Nuke get one or more goals?
Oh.
Into the slot, doesn't find it. No, Padre looking to kill some time in his own zone. Will get it to the neutral zone, and now some passing creatively will get him into the offensive zone. Here's 36 seconds to go. We'll pass it back to the point. Doesn't take the shot. Behind the net, just ticking valuable seconds away off the clock, preserving that 1-goal lead. That was once 4 goals, by the way. And now Nuke pushes him into the neutral zone. Can't get the puck, though. Still has it. Finally, Nuke gets the puck and skates backwards, forwards, looking for an opportunity. Top of the circle. Pass goes nowhere. Still has it. 10 seconds to go. Nuke, top of the circle, gets taken down, and with 7.5 seconds to go, he'll get the face-off in the offensive zone with the man advantage.
Veteran play there. He knew that there was a lot of time off the clock, not much remaining, so he went for the tripping call to just make sure that he at least gets a reset here. He doesn't get caught chasing. An important draw in this series.
Face-off is won by Padre. Very important indeed. He will dump the puck, and the scoreline will remain 5-4. So that is a 10-4 aggregate, Sleeves, for Team USA. A terrific start as we get to the halfway point of this series.
Absolutely, man. So yeah, the score going into this one, or sorry, at the end of 2 games will be 10-5 for the U.S. over Canada as Nuke almost battled back and won and tied things up here. The time on attack tripled for Nuke in this one as he had almost 15 minutes to 5 time on attack. But it was the U.S. taking advantage of those kind of ticky-tack goals, but holding down on defense when it mattered most. And we are in for a heck of a finish here. And I know Josh, that was big for Josh. 5 goals does seem like a lot, but all it takes is a 3-goal advantage and a 2-goal advantage to force OT and into that force overtime. So it's not over at all. Our next game up here will be game number 2 of John Wayne versus Josh. We're gonna get to that in a few minutes, guys, but we're gonna take a quick break and get you teed up for game number 3 of USA versus Canada in the IIHF 2020 Esports Fan Championships. Welcome back, guys. Again, No Sleeves and Arda with you today, covering all of the action from the USA-Canada series, and we are about to get underway with John Wayne and Josh in Game 2. Obviously, Game number 1 went in the favor of the U.S. and John Wayne as he opened up the scoring by a score of 5-1. And then, obviously, we just watched the Nuke and Padre series get underway. But again, two of the biggest members of the community. Again, Josh representing the GWC in Canada last year, and you've mentioned it a few times, giving us probably one of the best series of esports in NHL history between him and young Gren last year to go to Vegas. But then John Wayne, I mean, one of the biggest members of the community, what he did this year with Monumental and Caps Gaming and becoming the first player signed by an NHL franchise really opened a lot of doors and, you know, helped run one of the biggest tournaments that had happened in our space. So it's great to see these two guys going head-to-head, and not to mention, like, best friends. You know, it's good to see that. And we're going to get a big one. I know Josh, both these guys hate losing, but Josh, coming off that 5-1 loss, is not going to be happy particularly. So we'll see if he comes out. And again, he's got to lay it on. He can't take any seconds off. Any goals against is just going to make it that much harder for him, as the aggregate score is just so much more important.
Yeah, see, and this is I've always seen John Wayne as somebody who performs his best when his back is against the wall. So now I want to see how John Wayne is going to perform when clearly Team USA have a sizable lead. How will John Wayne keep that momentum going? He's very good when he's down by 1 with 2 minutes left in the third period, right? Like he often shows up in those kind of situations. Now I want to see how John Wayne performs when there is a clear lead with a full game to play against one of the best there is in Josh Fearless. You know, so now Josh Fearless has a fire lit inside of him to get Canada back into this series because there's only 2 games to go. No,
and absolutely, and you know what? It's funny because it might seem not what you normally think about. You're down by 5, so the pressure's on you. But I mean, you're down by 5. The pressure might not be all on you because if he scores 1 or 2 goals, gets out to like a 2-0 lead over John here, it's gonna creep back in your head that he's getting back not only in this game but in the series. So again, it's going to be a heck of a back half of this series. It is the final game and series, of the first round of the IIHF 2020 Esports Fan Championships, and I couldn't be happier to be calling all the action along with my good friend here, Arda. And we're just about a minute away, guys, from game number 3. It will be Josh Fearless versus John Wayne, their final game of their series. Guys, I want to see the chat. 1's in the chat if you think that John Wayne and the U.S. will win this game. 2's in the chat for Canada and my man Josh Fearless for this all-important game number 3, while Padre and Nuke get to sit back and just see how it goes.
There's a lot of luminaries in the chat too, by the way. Junior Pens is here. Top Shelf Cookie, the reigning world champ, is in the house. Don't Be Sod is here. We got NJ Devil, the Devil's mascot. We have the Washington Capitals in the chat. Jordan deserves a raise, by the way. Like, there's a lot of luminaries. Bones is in the house. Like, believe me when I tell you, this is a very important series in the grand scheme of things in NHL esports, and people have shown up in droves just to watch, particularly this back half of this series. As we get started here, it's going to be Josh Fearless taking on John Wayne. Is it the same colors?
Here we go, guys. Yeah, same colors. It'll be red for Josh and white for John Wayne, guys. And again, remember on your screen, that aggregate score beside their gamer tag is all that matters, and we'll see if John Wayne can hold his lead that they've developed.
So remember, it's a 5-goal advantage right now for the players in white. That is John Wayne that defeated Josh Fearless in game number 1. That was a 5-1 score, but now the aggregate lead has been added to 5, but hold the phone. That's now incorrect because Josh Fearless just gets on the board early.
Here we go, because again, like I said going into this, if Josh can get up by a few early, then the pressure flips, because now John knows that it's really important that he keeps it close, because if this ends up being a blow-up, it's going to come all down to that Padre versus Nuke matchup.
Let me tell you, this is exactly how any fan of Team Canada would have wanted this to start. An early first goal. Now let's see if Josh Fearless can keep that momentum going, or if it will be the stingy defense of Daddy Padre that will lead the way. A second shot there, another dangerous opportunity early in the first period for Josh Fearless. So Canada is still down by 4 goals. America up 10-6 in the overall series. We will keep close attention to that scoreline for you so that you will all know exactly what situation we're in. J-Fear gives up the puck there and puts him in an offside position, so J-Fear still has it. We'll circle back around now. Here is J-Fear behind the goal line, gets it back. Inside the face-off dot, looking for his options. Nice pass there to Marner. Marner will bring it. Oh, the wind-up by Bergeron, and Marner has it again. Huberdeau, and a save by Price. Wow. J-Fear is really turning it on early, Cam.
Oh, absolutely. And Price has been huge for both Padre and John Wayne in this series. A couple of big saves, but Josh looks impressive early on. It's going to be imperative, though, that he doesn't let John get on the board because, again, all the momentum is going Josh's way right now.
Here is John Wayne now in the offensive. That might be his first offensive opportunity of the entire game. It's been almost half of the first period. That's how imposing J-Fear has been so far. You can tell that he is really turning on the Jets early on. But now John Wayne has a little bit of room to breathe. So now he is here. He's getting pinned up against the boards. J-Fear has been doing that very well all series. But now Pietrangelo at the point. Nice wind up by Monahan. Won't go anywhere, though. Here's J-Fear. J-Fear has the puck, passes it to Brad Marchand in the neutral zone. J-Fear will circle around, creating some space. Will go behind. Will step into his office for a couple seconds, but now has it back to the point. Here's Riley. Riley will bring it forward. Circles back around. Pietrangelo will score from the point, make it 2-0, and 10-7. 3 goals are separating them now.
All right, now things are starting to get interesting, Arda, as Josh starting to blast them from everywhere, and that's to shout out to my man Owe in the chat for calling this. Canada, he said this entire time, Canada wasn't out of it, and the best admin in our space, calling it correctly so far early in game number 3.
There is no monopoly on who's going to win this game for sure, because right now, this has been busted wide open. What you thought might have been an absolute rout for Team USA is now within 3 goals, and that is manageable for a third period between these caliber players, let alone a game and a half.
No, absolutely. Again, I think the next goal, is one almost squeaked through there. The next goal in this game is going to go a long way to dictate the rest of this series because, I mean, the score, obviously Padre beat Nuke in that game, but it was a commanding advantage in time on attack and shots and just overall control of the play by Nuke, especially in the back half of that game. So it's not going to, if this doesn't slow down and John doesn't keep it close, it could be right back in it here for the Canadians.
J-Fear is not letting up, as he should. Nice kick there to Thomas Chabot. Oh, and Scheifele will score 3-0 in the first period. 10-8 aggregate. Don't go anywhere.
Folks, we got ourselves a series. Hold on to your butts. This is going to be a great finish.
Boy, Johnny and Owe is proving to be Nostradamus here.
Absolutely.
Did anyone give him lines? He was asking for. I hope you didn't, because this is turning out to be as close as possible. Incredible.
No. Absolutely. And 3-0 now. We saw it. Looks like a timeout taken early here to try and stop the momentum. Again, John, one of the best in the big games. We'll see if he can keep it close. And now it switches. He's got to keep it close. If it gets any more out of hand for Josh, then it really comes down to Padre. And the series completely flips from the first 2 games.
A motivated Jay Fear is among the most feared competitors in all of NHL esports, and that was almost a fourth goal in the first period right there. John Wayne definitely wants to get one on the board so he can break this momentum, because it's all Jay Fear all the time in this first period. 3-0. Bringing the aggregate to 2 goals. That's it. That's all that's separating USA and Canada right now. We have a series on our hands.
A fantastic first period there for Josh and Canada, as Nuke sits back and has just got to be smiling, waiting to see the end result of this one. But I don't think this one's over. I don't think that it's going to get any more wider. If anything happens here, I think John makes this game a little bit more close. I think he scores maybe a couple here. Maybe it ends up being a 1-goal game, but I think this is far from over. Is, again, John, one of the better defensive players. He plays really slow, and just like in that first game, I mean, there isn't really anything that's changed other than the passes actually getting through for Josh, as he knows what's coming. He just needs to lock it down.
The Crosby face-off is giving me nightmares from Season 1 of GWC. As we continue on here. Oh, Josh Fearless, another goal. Make it 4-0. 1-goal separation now.
He is absolutely pouring it on. Are you kidding? 4-0. And at this point, John's got to just make sure that he or at least holds on so that USA have a lead or it's tied.
Oh, my word. Oh, this is... Talk about exciting. This is exactly what we're getting here. Josh Fearless isn't even done. Doesn't even feel like he's halfway done right now, as he is just finding the back of the net with relative ease so far in this matchup. Can John Wayne have any sort of answer? Can find any of that magic he had in game number 1? We're going to see, because right now, as we start the second period, it is 4-0 for Josh Fearless with a 10-9 aggregate. So even though it's 4-0 here, just remember that Team USA is still up by 1 in the series. But that can change very, very fast, as Josh Fearless looking for a pass, doesn't find it. Here's John Wayne finally getting the puck, but no, loses it just as fast as I'm able to say that. And Josh Fearless misses the net with that shot. But boy, he has been dangerous, Cam, with every single shot he's taken. Oh,
he's relentless. And like I said, man, I did not see Josh losing two in this, and he just, when he's motivated, he's one of the best. He's a notorious slow starter in every single tournament he does, and it looks like it's proving to be the same here in this after that first game losing 5-1.
What did you call it? Hold on to your what?
Hold on to your butts.
Got it. Shout out to young Gren, just showed up. He's like, what game is this? Where are we? What's going on? Well, Gren, we're in game number 3, and the first 2 games were slaughters by Team USA, and now all of a sudden Josh Fearless is up 4-0, and there's a 1-goal separation between the two.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
Just to catch everybody up who's just joining us right now, yeah, you're in for a wild ride right now, as it's 4-0 right now for Jay Fear, but it's 10-9 USA on aggregate, and that just shows you how incredible these games have been so far between 2 of what you would say on paper are of the best teams in this entire tournament.
Absolutely, and again, that just goes to show how dominant the USA was in the first 2 games, that they still have a lead, even though John's trailing 4-0 in this one. He's just got to settle down. I think if John gets the next goal, it's going to be huge for him. He needs some zone time. He's having a heck of a time just getting into the zone, and we'll see if he can't, start actually cycling around right now, which is, where he feels most comfortable.
Jay Fear looking for more. John Wayne finally has the puck in his own zone. Here's Pietrangelo for John Wayne. Lead pass to Brad Marchand. Marchand to Giroux. Finally, with a nice offensive effort, Carey Price is right there. That might have been the first real chance for John Wayne in this entire game so far. And now Josh Fearless bringing it back. Marner to Riley. Nice pass there, getting through a couple of white players' sticks there. And you can see Josh Fearless still has it. Doughty circles around. Nice creation of space there. Marner behind the net, passes it back to O'Reilly. O'Reilly has it. Bumped off the puck by John Wayne. John Wayne with the white jerseys and Josh Fearless in red. Lead pass goes nowhere. Marchand has it in the neutral zone. There's O'Reilly. O'Reilly skating through the white shirts. Doesn't quite get the shot off, though. Scheifele will be behind the net. Scheifele still playing keep away. Almost got right to the front of the net, but Carey Price with the poke check. Here's Duncan Keith now for John Wayne. John Wayne with Pietrangelo. Passes it to his O'Reilly. That pass between the legs goes nowhere. Jay Fear. Puck is loose. John Wayne collects it in the offensive zone. Doesn't necessarily have an outlet just yet, so he's going to be patient with the puck. Back to the point to Monahan. Monahan trying to bait the defenders. Gets it behind the net. Here's that patience that we've seen John Wayne have in the offensive zone. It won't go anywhere, though. Here's Josh Fearless. Josh now has the puck. Gets into the offensive zone, and that will be a penalty. So now it's actually Josh Fearless that will go on the power play. That does not look good for John Wayne.
No, he needs to make sure that this one stays out of the back of the net and end this period at least with the same score that it is. And it's 4-0 now. This third period is going to be huge because if Josh can score again and get the things even and it all comes down to Nuke and Padre, I cannot wait to see how the rest of this game and that final one ends. As again, these two of the biggest powerhouses in NHL esports in terms of skill level and whatnot, and just the pairings that they have. It's going to be a fantastic finish. Couldn't be happier that we get to witness this one.
Look at that shot total, 8-3 in favor of Josh Fearless. John Wayne not really finding the net in this one. So as much of the talk that we've had about John Wayne's defense so far, it has really been Josh Fearless through perhaps his offense that has really been converting.
I'm more curious to see what changed in John's gameplay. I mean, because the time on attack in that first game was close, and in this one it's not. I don't know if he was just better in the neutral zone and denied zone entry. It looked like Josh was forcing a lot of plays. Like I mentioned, that first game, he's one of the only top players in the world still that uses the overload strategy. John countering it well, but he's just not able to block those cross-ice passes, and we've seen almost 3 one-timer goals here from Josh. And it's just crazy how a flip of a switch like that and just, those slight passes getting through just completely changed the outcome of this series.
Jay Fear happy to pass it back to the point with McDavid. McDavid dangles, waits patiently behind the net. Oh, he almost found the outlet there, but at the last second, John Wayne caught him. Here's Burns now. Burns in the neutral zone. Padre really needs to throw everything at that net right now to try and get a couple goals for Team USA. Even though they're up by 1, wants to thwart this momentum because Jay Fear certainly has it as he's up 4-0 in this game. See what happens here in the third. Josh Fearless has the puck. Will shoot. Carey Price will make the save. And now here comes John Wayne. Marchand easily stripped of the puck there by Jay Fear. Jay Fear loses it, though, in the neutral zone. Back comes Marchand. Marchand will skate forward, bumped off the puck, and Jay Fear collects it in his own zone. He gets bumped in turn. And now John Wayne behind the net. John Wayne looking for Crosby in front, but was tied up. Burns has it in the neutral zone for John Wayne. Here comes McDavid into the offensive zone. That will be offside.
John's starting to play a little bit better, a little bit more of his game now in the back half of this one. He really needs a goal. I mean, one goal advantage going into that fourth game is nice, but anything more than one would be just even better. Is the way that the defensive abilities of Padre. I mean, they were on full display in that first game. He gave up a lot of time on attack, a lot of shots, but they weren't of high quality. And any advantage in goals there for him is huge.
John Wayne is meeting a lot of adversity in front of the net, just not able to get quality shots on net in this particular contest. Same amount of goal difference between game 1 and 2, just the opposite player getting the benefit of that. So here's Jay Fear behind the net. One more goal would tie the series for Jay Fear. Puck will be set loose. John Wayne has it with Monahan. Over to Crosby. Sid the Kid has it in the neutral zone. Nice pass to Doughty. Doughty has an outlet. Won't go. Scheifele doesn't get the puck. Jay Fear read that one. Tries to get the lead pass, but doesn't quite go. Instead, John Wayne has it again. Nice pass there. Puck doesn't get in front of the net. Pinned up behind the net. There's a scramble. Jay Fear will get it. Exits the zone now. Lead pass to Marner. Marner behind the net. 8:50 to go in the third. Jay Fear has it. Marner. Oh, and a shot there. I believe that might have hit the side of the post. Wow, getting dangerously close to a 5th goal is Jay Fear. Has ample time to do so. Here's John Wayne. It's rare that you see such a one-sided affair in any game for John Wayne.
No, absolutely. I mean, there are times that his gameplay style is slow and methodical. He looks for those cross-ice passes a lot, and these guys play each other so much. It's why it's not really all that surprising that you see kind of the reverse of Game 1 as they can adjust really well. But yeah, it's going to be huge if he can get one in the back half of this game, as we're going to get a power play here for John, and a perfect time to try and get at least one to give Padre a 2-goal advantage going in to this fourth and final game.
So this is very important for the series here, how John Wayne will be able to handle this power play. Right now, it is Jay Fear that has the puck. He'll lose it, though, so now in the offensive zone is John Wayne. Great defensive effort there by Jay Fear to swat the puck away, and now he will exit the zone. Oh, nicely done by Stamkos to keep the puck onside. Very well done. So John Wayne will benefit now and will be able to set up in the offensive zone. Great play by Stamkos. Has it again now. Here's Crosby. What can John Wayne do here? 4 minutes to go. Circles around. Jay Fear was there with 3 red shirts and collects the puck. There's 30 seconds left in the power play. Shea Weber has it. First time we've mentioned him in this entire series. Here is Jay Fear behind the net. Just happy to kill the clock at this point.
Watch for a lot of cycling here from Josh, not necessarily looking for an extra goal, but just trying to kill as much clock as possible. But I mean, I have to mention, if this game is not tied, if it stays the way that it is, there is a potential for overtime, which has not been seen in this tournament. Now, if it ends in a tie, so if Josh were to score one more, we will be tied going into that fourth game. Every game needs a winner, so the winner of that game would then determine the winner of the series. But if this is tied, this stays the same, then we have a potential chance if Nuke beats Padre by 1, and we're going to see an overtime, and that is going to get insane.
Imagine that if this were to go to overtime after 4 games, they're completely tied. It would almost be appropriate with these 4 players being world-class competitors, right? I mean, absolutely. It would be completely appropriate.
Yep, I agree completely.
So what happens in the last minute here? It's 4-0 for Josh Fearless. Burns at the point. Can he add one more? Here's McDavid. McDavid still has the puck in the faceoff dot. Has 3 white shirts against him. There's the puck in front of the net for Crosby. Crosby to McDavid. Scores! Make it tied. They are tied at 10-10 on aggregate. Unbelievable.
As you hear Josh in the background, he is losing it. He is fired up. That's a big goal for him in Canada. And it looks like we are going to come down to one final game as Josh battles all the way back from the deficit he created on Canada early. As Josh fired up in the background there. You love to see it.
You have got to be kidding me. What a series we have seen so far. Incredible. And Jay Fair may not be done.
He might get the lead going into this.
Opportunity there. Wow. From what we thought would be possibly people writing Canada off after game number 1 to Josh Fearless completely erasing game number 1. Completely a clean slate. In fact, making it a +1 unless John Wayne can score here. Carey Price will make the save here and will cover up. On aggregate, if you look at both of their games on aggregate, if John Wayne doesn't score here, Josh Fearless would actually be a +1 for their 2 games.
Absolutely, and that's huge. Just I had a feeling that Josh does not lose 2 in a row, so it looks like we're going to get it, though.
Wow. What a turnaround performance by Josh Fearless, bringing this series to a 10-10 stalemate, going into the 4th and final game. And so now, Cam and chat, everyone watching our IIHF Esports Fan Championship 2020 round of 16 matchup between Team USA and Team Canada, it all comes down to Nuke and Daddy Padre, where everything is on a level playing field. We are tied at 10. Next game wins.
I can't believe, after the start that USA, it was 10-5 going into that game. Josh battled all the way back and got everything that he needed to give Nuke, the ultimate shot here to win. He put himself and Nuke into a large deficit early with their first game, but now, what a crazy comeback there for Josh, and why not? I mean, Canada, the U.S. going to a 4th and decisive game. So, guys, there will not be overtime, the double overtime. That won't be the scenario. Let me play out what's going to happen here. no matter what, even if it goes to overtime between Nuke and Padre, the winner of that game will determine who will move on to the next round to play Slovakia. And I just want to go back to yesterday, as I was the one that called the Slovakia and Latvian series, and it went down almost the exact same. It was tied going into this fourth game, and it is exciting no matter what country is playing. This is where this tournament really shines, and even in a 5-0 game, I mean, in a normal 1v1 way, 5-0, okay, it's kind of over at 3 maybe. This just, the format of this has been fantastic with the aggregate, as now a 5-0 win was exciting all the way through, trying to see if Josh can score one more and tie things up.
Unbelievable. I want to correct myself. I actually misspoke, and thank you, Holpe, for holding me accountable in chat. The game between Padre and Nuke was actually not a blowout. It was very close. So you could absolutely see the same thing happening in game number 4. Even though it was a blowout either way for J-Fear and for John Wayne. John Wayne taking the first game convincingly, J-Fear taking the second game convincingly. That's not what happened between Padre and Nuke. They were very competitive through and through in that matchup. And now we're going to get that same vibe going into the decisive game where it rests in their hands. This is incredible. Throw a flag in the chat. Canada or USA, who do you want to win between these powerhouse nations in the IIHF Esports Fan Championship 2020? We are in the round of 16, and we have the biggies right now, Team USA and Team Canada. And Cam, it all comes down to this.
I cannot wait to see how this game is going to play out. I just, how it started, it looked like this was going to be kind of, if it was going to be a blowout, so be it. That's fine. But, just in classic fashion, whenever these two nations play in hockey, it just always ends up being something like this. And we are going to see what country wants it more and moves on to play Slovakia. Guys, I want to give you a quick update on the bracket so far and where we are. As Arda did mention, we are in the final game of the round of 16, and here is how things are shaping up. So yesterday, we saw Russia defeat Kazakhstan by an aggregate score of 24-8. They will play Norway, who upset Switzerland by a score of 18-10. But then down there, we've got the big bad Finns with Eki. They are waiting. They are, extremely feared in this tournament. They beat Great Britain 27-6. They are going to take on Germany in the next round, who took out Denmark 14-6 earlier today. On the other side, we've got Sweden, who defeated Italy 28-10. And again, Sweden cannot be overlooked, as they've got one of the best young players in our entire space in NHL esports in Ekin Jr., and he represented them well today. We've also then got their opponent, which will be the Czechs, as they beat Belarus 19-9, and they will play their second round matchups. And then up top here, whoever wins this next game will take on Slovakia, who beat Latvia yesterday in the final game of the day by a 1-goal aggregate score, and that came down to the final 20 seconds, and I couldn't be more excited to see how this one is going to end. But guys, real quick, we are going to take a quick break and then tee up all the action in the final one between Daddy Padre and Nuke. Hey guys, welcome back. It is Cameron Halbert and Ardo Cal. We are about to get into the fourth and final game, the decisive game in this series between Canada and the US. It will be Padre and Nuke going at it in their second game of their series. Ardo, what are you expecting in this?
I'm honestly, to be real, overtime. Honestly, one goal separated them in their first matchup, and we are completely tied in the series at 10. It's 10 for Canada, 10 for USA. If this game doesn't go to overtime between Padre and Nuke, I would be surprised. I think this is going to be a very tight affair. I think that both of them are going to be playing it very cautiously, because this is the one that counts now. The fate of their teams rest in both of their hands. And this is such an important round of 16 matchup that in any other circumstance could have been a final. No, and so absolutely. Now, Nuke for Canada and Padre for the United States, for them to have that on their shoulders, I expect them to maybe be a little bit apprehensive because there's so much riding on this. But at the same time, I think this is going to be one that we're going to be talking about for a long time.
Absolutely. And Nuke, obviously, I have to think he's probably the heavy favorite again going into this series, but I've watched Padre play Nuke in a couple of different events, and just the style that Padre plays. He has those big players. He bumps people off the puck, and the way that Nuke plays slow, waiting for that perfect wrist shot, it just matches up so well. And you saw that in that first game. Even though that Nuke dominated time on attack, he couldn't get those perfect wrist shots that we are accustomed to when watching Nuke play regularly. And again, this has got to be a nice retribution. He gets another moment. Both of these players not making the GWC here and just falling short of the regionals, and now they get a shot to send their country into the second round against Slovakia. And again, guys, we are about to get underway with that in just a few moments. But
I'm so pumped. I am so excited for, like, you couldn't have asked for a better situation. We could have gotten into this point with like a 7 or 8 goal aggregate. And honestly, after game number 1, some of us might have been thinking that. Some of us might have been saying, hey, remember the Caster's curse, Arda, where you had the Team Canada jersey before game number 1 started? How dare you curse Team Canada like that with the Caster's curse? Well, that's out the window because they're now tied.
Now John and Josh get to sit back and watch. But guys, we are about to get underway. Here is game number 4, Padre and Nuke, with Arda on the call.
All right, it all comes down to this. It will be
Nuke in the reds and Padre in the whites.
Nuke in red, Padre in white. Let's see how the last game, it was Josh Fearless that came out of the gates swinging. Let's see how this one will shake down. Padre gets the first shot. Doesn't quite get a good sight line to the net there, but Padre still has it. Crosby passes it back to the point, winds up, and a save made by Price. Finally, Nuke has the puck and will lose it almost in a very dangerous position. Nuke still has it. Nuke into the neutral zone, makes the lead pass. But Padre, who was very good defensively in game number 2, in their first game, I should say, brings it forward but doesn't get too far. Nuke has it now. Nuke brings it across the blue line. The shot won't make it quite as far as he would like it to. It's a little bit of apprehension here right now. You can tell. Oh, and the shot there. Nice saves by Carey Price. First good opportunity of the game there. 6 minutes in. But it is saved by Padre.
Price has been unreal in this series.
Padre, nice blocker save made by Price. Back and forth action so far. 1 to 2 chances in each zone before the opposing team is able to establish a counterattack. Quick changes being made, and that's icing.
And again, the way that Padre plays, it's almost like Junior Penn's. Like I said, he will throw those shots from the point at, those one-timers that from rough angles, and it might lead to him having a little bit of advantage in a best-of-1 situation, but we'll see, because Nuke, again, goes for those kind of perfect plays, and we'll see if Padre can maybe squeak 1 or 2 by him like he did in that first game, and there was a pass off of Nuke as one of Padre's goals.
The one-timer attempt won't go there, but Padre collects it in the neutral zone once again, looking to establish a break-in. Can't get there quite. There's Crosby to McDavid. What a duo that is. McDavid still has it. The one-hand tuck converts, and it is Nuke getting on the board first. Canada with an 11-10 lead on aggregate.
What a filthy goal there. Hits the spin move to open up some space for him. And then the in-tight one-hand tuck that he did not bury in their previous game on a breakaway. And now Canada is out in front.
Oh, that was almost 2 goals right there, but Price at the doorstep.
Big save there, as that would have been, pretty crushing. Again, Padres got to keep this close for the majority of the game, because when Nuke starts rolling, he really gets going. So we'll see if Padre can keep it close here.
Padre has the puck after the faceoff, loses it in a dangerous position. Nuke has it in front of the net now. Will take a little bit too much time. Will allow Padre to execute the breakout. Nice pass there. Winds up a save by Price. Nuke gets it back now. Almost gets bumped off. The puck still has it. A 2-on-2 with one trailing. Nice spin move, but nobody's there for the pass. Padre has it. Another counterattack. Back and forth action. A seesaw battle here in the first period. Nuke now looking for that lead pass, possibly a partial 2-on-1. Nice pass there for the trailing player. Doesn't go. Padre now trying to exit in numbers. Keeps it in the offensive zone. From the point, Price makes the easy stop. Saw it all the way.
Good opportunity there for Padre, but yeah, there's been a few in the slot there for Nuke, and again, just staying in this game, he's got to try and keep it as close as he can in the later stages of this first period, because again, if it gets out of hand, it really tends to go into Nuke's favor, just because Padre doesn't usually score in bunches. He just, as that one almost trickles through. Big chance there for Padre.
So yes, for the chat, the winner of this matchup will move on to face Slovakia in the quarterfinals. Same format, will be 4 games. Aggregate score will move on. A shot from the point doesn't go for Daddy Padre. 5 to go in the first period. Nuke strikes first. Canada with a 1-goal lead on aggregate.
It's crazy how Canada is now leading in the 4th game after how those first 2 games went. That crazy game by Josh coming all the way back, and again he won 5-0, but he only went up +1 in the aggregate. So it wasn't like John got dominated in total. It was a -1 for him. Oh,
Exactly, and it was a -1 for Daddy Padre in game number 1, so you can tell that both of these two are very equally matched, and game 1 was definitely an indication of that. There's Nuke. Nice move there! Couldn't quite get the one-timer to convert. The puck stays out, the play continues. Here's Nuke now. Nuke behind the net. Nice pass in front. He scores off the one-timer! Make it 12-10 for Canada.
and it's crazy because right at the other end, Padre was robbed on a one-timer out in front, and it comes down the other way, and Nuke is going to bang home the rebound here and take the 2-goal advantage in this one.
The Owe making the note in chat, that is 9 unanswered goals for Canada right now.
That is crazy. And it's only a
was
2-goal
10 to
advantage.
3.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, that just goes to show you how equally matched these two teams are, but also how quickly that pendulum swung from the first half of this series to the second.
No, absolutely. You're right. As a one-timer here is going to be stopped as Nuke now rolling. Padre is going to have to, capitalize on any chance he gets now, as he's still playing well defensively. Nuke, that first goal, the spin move to get in, and then the one-hand tuck. There's not many people that would have stopped that. But we'll see if Padre can answer back in the second period as he goes 2-0 for Canada and Nuke after one.
This has been an incredibly entertaining series between two of the best teams that not only you would find in this tournament, but anywhere if they were competing in any NHL esport competition that you could possibly compete in. And this has been an absolute thrill to call with you as well, my dude. With sleeves, I guess, since you're wearing a shirt similar to mine. As the chat has duly noted.
It's been a blast here, man, and we're in for a wild ride. I think that Padre will keep this close. We'll see. But just, I can't overstate how the adjustments from Canada have come, as Josh pulling them all the way back within, to tie things up going into this one. And now Nuke with a great opportunity there, as well as Padre under siege here as he plays it out, but he'll hold none of that.
And there again, you see the impatience there by Daddy Padre. He escapes there, but Nuke had the puck after Carey Price dished it out in an inopportune moment, and you will see that kind of impatience often happen. But the play goes on, so Padre does not suffer for that play there. But Nuke has it. Look at this. Nuke has it, spins around, waits, didn't find an outlet, so Padre will be able to take the puck. Yeah, very good there. And now Padre has it, but all 5 red shirts are at least 4 of them, one making the change, so it will be too much strength in numbers. And Nuke now with the counterattack has some options. The pass and scores! Make it 3-0 in the game and 13-10 for Canada.
Just an unbelievable turn of events here is now Nuke rolling. And again, Padre was doing, he had some opportunities at the other end. He couldn't convert, and he has got to score the next one if he is going to have a shot in this series.
This is definitely not how I envision this game going down. And yes, we have a lot of time left, but Padre needs to act, and he needs to act soon. Nuke has the puck, meanwhile, looking to add to his total, but Padre finally bumps him off the puck. Has it now. What can he do with it? In the offensive zone, creates some space, misses the net with the shot. Nuke now has 3, back to the point. Pass there! Carey Price makes the save. Padre has it now. We've reached the halfway point of the game, and it's 3-0. Nuke in this one. Oh, the puck was dangerously open there for a second. In front of a yawning cage, it won't go. Daddy Padre has it and has someone trailing, but the puck can't get to them. Nuke now looking for a lead pass, finds it. Padre telegraphs it, collects the puck behind his own goal line. 8:30 to go in the second period. That puck will sail all the way down. Yep, that change will lead to an icing.
And he missed another one on the backhand early, and Padre's just not getting those same bounces that he got in game number 1. He needs to be the next one on the board if he's going to have any chance of coming back. 4 would be too much.
And 4 might be too much. Exactly what you just said there. 14-10 on aggregate for Canada.
Crazy comeback. I can't state that enough. It's just the first half of this series, it didn't look like Canada was even going to show up, and then the third period of Nuke and Padre, and things just completely flipped. And I think Owe mentioned in the chat, that's like almost like 12 goals now unanswered.
It seems insurmountable right now. Oh, Padre had an opportunity there. Price gets there at the last second. It seems insurmountable, but for players at this caliber, 4 goals with almost a period and a half to go is not something that is out of the equation.
No,
but this is very high stakes here, though.
Absolutely. I mean, he's got to put the pressure on. I mean, 2 quick ones is probably... You know, again, right now, Nuke gets to play a little bit more relaxed. He knows that he's got a big lead and a power play now. But if that doubt kind of creeps back in, again, recently hasn't had a ton of success at the top-end events, which he's not used to at all over the last calendar year. But, again, Padre would need to, for 1,000%, need to have the next goal here.
And it's not like he hasn't been able to score against Nuke. He kept it very competitive in game number 1, so let's see if he can find any of that magic here. In game number 2, the one-timer wouldn't go. Maybe half a second earlier might have been a better opportunity. On the one-timer, a defensive effort there by Nuke's AI gets the job done, and Nuke will continue on now. Padre collects it in his own zone, however. Passes it in front of the net. And a lead pass here, a partial break. Winds up and misses the net.
Just how it's going so far. This game is now a partial break
and
for
now,
Nuke.
And breakaway for Nuke. And Nuke, oh, he almost took advantage of it. Somehow, some way, the puck was left in front of the net there. The manual goalie doesn't go. Completely unchecked. And now it is 15-10. A 5-goal lead for Canada.
That game just kind of summarizes, or that goal just kind of summarizes this game. Is Padre came out, makes the save, but it just lays on the goal line, and Padre just cannot get anything going, can't get any bounce his way offensive or defensively, and this one looks to be over here in the second, but we'll see. You never know.
That was just Christmas morning for Nuke right there. It was a completely wrapped gift right at the goal line, but hey, that's sometimes how the cookie crumbles, and every goal counts if it crosses the line. So here's Padre looking for something, anything, and those one-timers are just being telegraphed by Nuke, who's doing a great job defensively and has another one. A nice save by Price.
Huge save there at the end of the period here, and looks like we're getting a 5-goal Canada lead. As you see it there, 15-10 going into the third period between Nuke and Padre, and again, you know, all the bounces went Padre's way in game number 1 of these 2. But look at the time on attack. It's in Padre's favor, which is a stark contrast to what we saw in their first game, where, you know, Nuke had 15 minutes to 5, but still lost 5-4. It's crazy how the differences in the games go, as now Nuke is just firing on all cylinders.
This is the third and possibly final period here. Nuke with a commanding lead and almost gets a 6th there. Hits the post. Still has the puck, though. And this game has been all Nuke all the time. Has been absolutely dominating this one. Just finding the back of the net at will. Creating offensive chances. Making that space. And doing well defensively to ensure that Daddy Padre is not finding the scoreboard so far. And Padre needs a Herculean effort in the third period in order to get back into this one. Make it 16-10, and you can tell the Canadians in the chat are already waving their flags and eating their ketchup chips and maple syrup.
That's 11 straight goals. It's just a crazy turn of events here, because it's not even like the games were close. Unbelievable here, as Nuke just dominating.
An incredible turn of events here. Does Padre have anything here? No, Nuke is telegraphing those one-timers, and finally Padre gets on the board. Is it too little too late? We will find out, but at least he breaks the streak.
Need to break the streak. Got to start with 1.
Down by 5. But Nuke wins the faceoff. Still 15 minutes to go. Nuke might get one here. No, he gets stopped, and Padre comes back now. Can Padre get 2 quick goals? We'll dump the puck. That's going to be icing.
Someone in the chat was asking why they didn't represent their country. So everyone in this event, all the representatives for all of their nations in the playoff rounds get to select a team of their choosing to make the competitive level in the actual game as close as possible. So the U.S. decided to go with Canada here. Now the one caveat is that as the tournament goes on, until you get to the finals, you cannot reuse a team. So next round, if the Canadians were to move on, they cannot use Team Canada until the finals. So, again, a lot of strategy goes into this event as well.
Padre has it. 12:20 to go. Every minute that ticks away off the score clock makes it even more difficult for Padre to somehow find a way to get back into this one. His back is against the wall right now. Oh, and that one. Oh, he's going to wish he had that one back. That definitely looked like a possible goal opportunity, but it stayed out of the net. Nuke has it now. It looks like we might get a penalty. And yes, it's going to be a power play for Nuke.
Every single chance that Padre has just barely missed has ended up in an advantage for Nuke in this game, and this one's no different.
Padre bumped off the puck, has an opportunity here. Can he convert on the... No, he can't. Oh, he gets swatted away by Nuke. What a defensive effort. You have to herald Nuke's defense in this game.
He's one of the best in the world, the defensive skill stick, and we see it there as that was a perfect read on that partial break.
The play continues. Here comes Padre. Padre's just going to have to throw everything, even though he's on the penalty kill right now. He's going to look to pass to the point. Back again. Playing some keep away. Nuke finally gets it, though. 16 seconds to go in the power play, but it's a possible 3-on-1 here. Nice pass there. Carey Price with the stop. Play continues. Nuke has it in front of the net. Oh, that puck was dangerous right there, but couldn't get to it in time. So Padre has it again. Will bounce the puck into the neutral zone. 7:40 to go. Nobody there to collect the pass. Back to the point. Padre trying to cycle the puck in the offensive zone. Behind the goal line. Behind the net now. Looking for the wraparound. It won't go. Nuke won't exit the zone. Padre keeps it in. The shot scores. The deficit is down to 4.
I think a little too late there, but now finally the passes and goals are starting to come for Padre. It's just unfortunate how the bounces went, that led to offensive chances for Nuke the other way. It's not just that, Nuke has been, dominating as he has been, but it's the chances that Padre's just narrowly missing and then followed right up with a goal against by Nuke that has got to be so frustrating for the U.S.
So 4 goals to go, 4 minutes to go.
1 a minute.
1 a minute. Doesn't seem impossible, but Padre has to go all out here. Nice lead pass there. Waiting for a trailer. Doesn't find what he likes. Keeps the puck. Under 3 minutes to go. Takes the shot. Carey Price makes the save. Dishes it away. Nuke will get out of the zone. Nuke makes the pass. 1-on-1. Still has it. Behind the goal line. Nuke to the point. Nice passing there. Oh, beautiful. And the last pass, though, Daddy Padre telegraphs it. And now the lead pass doesn't go. Nuke has it again. A minute to go in the third period. Padre still pressing, but like you said, might be too little. Too late. A save is made there by Carey Price. Padre with the slap shot doesn't go. Padre continues on. 43 seconds. A 4-goal lead for Nuke. It was a 1-goal game in their first contest, but now Nuke looking to add to more, and that's exactly what he will do. The dagger seals the deal. And Canada, from BC to the Maritimes, will be celebrating this victory as they will surely move on in this tournament.
It's crazy. That entire sequence, Padre was dominating. He doesn't get a goal there on multiple chances. Comes right down, Nuke scores again, and that's just how it goes sometimes when you're playing against one of the best in the world. And, Nuke is definitely back from, his little break that he took after the GWC, and he's playing fantastic right now, and we'll have to see how he does in the next round, as it looks like Canada will move on to play Slovakia in the quarterfinals of this tournament.
An incredible series is capped off with a dominant performance. Congratulations to Nuke and Josh Fearless, who move on. They defeat Team USA in the round of 16 and will move on in the IIHF Esports Fan Championship 2020. They will meet Slovakia in the quarterfinals. And now, Team Canada has their destiny in their own hands in this tournament as they look to continue on in this tournament.
No, absolutely, man. It's been a fantastic series. That last game got out of hand, but man, what a back and forth affair the entire way through. But don't go anywhere, guys. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to get some interviews with the players. We've got John Wayne and Josh Fearless, and we're going to speak with them in just a couple minutes here, guys. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Take it to it.
Welcome back, guys. I am joined by the U.S. representative, John Wayne. My man, how's it going?
It's going good, man. It's been better. Yeah, knew Josh was going to be a lot to handle in the second game. You know, he's a player that plays off emotion, and once he got that first one in like under 3 minutes of game time, I knew I was in for one.
No, absolutely. How did you feel after going in, seeing how you guys had that 5-goal advantage? Was it far different than you know how you normally play esports events with the aggregate scoring where everyone's added up? Did you feel that you kind of wanted to just keep it close, or were you just normal how you always play?
You know, I think when you're playing, you always want to win, right? So, like, I kind of took it as 0-0 game. Josh keeps calling me. No, but seriously, so, you know, but like I said, man, I felt like we got bounces in the first 2 games. We really did, you know, and you could tell. But, I mean, there's not much that separates, like, top players, especially in NA. You know, even though that I beat Josh 5-1 and he beat me 5-0, it just shows, I mean, that's how games can go. And especially against, like, good players, you start running when you get down and these scores can get out of hand. And I think that I did start running, and I probably shouldn't have, man. I shouldn't have been so aggressive. But the aggregate, I mean, you got to tip your cap to IIHF. I mean, it's fun. It's something new, so it's been a good time.
No, absolutely. All right, so give me your prediction of who do you think will move on to the finals. Do you think it'll be European team, or do you think that Canada will roll through?
Man, I got, you know, like, it sucks to play Canada first, right? I mean, I feel like that should have been a later match. But, dude, I don't think I'd rather have it any other way. I mean, I think I got to go with my NA brothers, even though, you know, there's a rivalry, whatever. I think they'll bring it home. I really do. I think they'll win the whole thing. And, yeah, it should be interesting to find out.
Absolutely, man. Well, I want to thank you for doing this interview and playing as the U.S. representative. You played fantastic. The series was one of the best I've gotten to cover. I was able to cover so far, man. So we will
also,
talk.
Sleaze, I do want to say, man, you and Arda, dynamite today, as always, man. I'd expect nothing less. So thank you so much for doing what you do. Appreciate it.
Hey, man, I appreciate that, guys. So we will take a quick break, and I will get Josh in here to give his thoughts, as I'm sure everyone is waiting to hear Josh talk. I'll see you guys shortly.
I am. Let's go.
Take it through it.
Hey guys, I am back with Josh Fearless, fan favorite from the Canadians, my man. Yo, how do you feel now after watching Nuke and Padre's game?
Oh man, awesome, dude. I knew Nuke would bring it out, dude. I knew he played really well the first game, but it was unfortunate. Padre came out with the wins. He got an early lead and played well. But I knew Nuke gave me a little message. He said, "Just tie it up with John, and I got you, buddy." And
really?
he did just that. Yeah, he did.
Yo, that's great. So let me ask you this. So you've played, hundreds of esports tournaments for NHL. You're probably one of the most decorated in terms of, just lengthened career at the top end of this game. How does it, the format of this and knowing, that the scores combined matter? Did you play any different in the second game knowing you had to score a bunch to get back in it? Or were you just trying to play the normal game that you normally play?
Yeah, I think the first game, I relied a little bit. I had him in the back of my head. I'm like, you know what? I have a teammate for a reason. If I lose by a lot, hey, he's always there to support me. But that obviously didn't go well. We went down 5-1, and then when he lost, I was like, okay, it's time to kick into gear. I gotta show Nuke. I'm a good teammate, and I'm here to represent Canada. I'm here to support him, man. So I went out and just smashed Johnny 5-zip, baby.
That you did, my man. So let me ask you this now. Give me your predictions on who is going to be in the finals of this event.
Well, I mean, you can't shoot yourself in the knee, so I'm going Team Canada. And obviously, man, I'm not trying to sound biased or anything, but Finland's got a cakewalk, so they should definitely make it there. If not, we got some talking.
No, you heard it here first, man. It better be Eki and Finland in the finals with Rhoda D. I want to thank you again, man, for hopping on the interview. That series was one of the best that we've seen this season in esports overall in NHL, man. And you're entertaining as always, dude. I appreciate you doing this.
Yeah, thank you. And to be honest, Johnny's my boy, and Padre's my boy. They played well today, and appreciate you guys doing the double IHF. In general, great commentating like John. I'll take that from John's little notebook. And you guys have a great rest of the day.
All right, man. Again, guys, we'll be right back now, and we'll close things up in the first round of the IIHF 2020 Esports Fan Championships.
Take it through it.
guys, welcome back to our continued coverage of the IIHF 2020 Esports Fan Championship. I'm joined by Arda, and again, man, give me your thoughts on how this event went. You've covered some of, if not the biggest games in the NHL landscape. How did you think the format and everything went today?
Very exciting. I love the format. I think that the IIHF did things right here. I thought that they stood out for being unique, having a format that we haven't necessarily seen in NHL esports. I enjoyed it very much. It added an extra layer of intrigue, having the 4 standard matches or the 4 guaranteed matches, but using the score line in aggregate. I thought that was really cool. And it showed itself in this series between 2 of the biggest teams in this entire tournament to have them the way completely deadlocked going into the last game. I mean, that just says it all. That's drama personified, especially when you have 2 of the best players in the game well, all 4 of them are considered the best players in the game. But when you have Nuke and Padre with the fate of their entire team in their hands going into that last matchup, that's great. That's intrigue. That creates compelling viewing for everyone at home. So I enjoyed calling it. I enjoyed calling it with you, and I can't wait to see what happens for the rest of the tournament.
No, absolutely. And speaking of the rest of the tournament, guys, I'm going to throw up the bracket here. This was prior to our event here, but I've actually got the updated one as we'll see the final, how the teams are going to match up here. And again, on that right side, we've got Russia and Norway, as well as Finland, Germany, Sweden, and the Czech Republic. And then finally, we've got Slovakia there as, it's going to be a crazy finish here, but we've got the updated bracket here now with Canada. So here's what you'll see in the quarterfinals of this tournament. So again, Canada will play Slovakia, Sweden will play the Czech Republic, Russia against Norway, and then Finland against Germany. And again, these games, it'll be 2 on Tuesday, 2 on Wednesday in the quarterfinals here, right here on this channel. And yeah, man, it has been just a great day of action here, and I couldn't be happier to have called it with my man Arda. It's been a great, a great day of action. The final games of the first round. And again, guys, stay tuned to the rest of this event. It is going to be awesome. As the games get going and further, there's going to be more on the line as we get closer to our final. But I also want to thank, again, the IIHF for putting on this fantastic event, guys. So for No Sleeves and Arda, we're going to sign off here. And again, guys, thank you for watching.
you